What's up, good people? Welcome back to my channel. As you guys know, Thanksgiving is right around the corner, and I know a lot of people tend to just go and jump forward to Christmas, but I love Thanksgiving because it's just a great time. It's like a special holiday to me in the year that I look forward to because it's about family, it's about friends, and taking time to be grateful and reflect on all that you have. I hope y'all are having a great day today. It is a busy day over here for my family because we are currently in the process of packing and getting ready to leave home because we are taking Thanksgiving to Alabama with our extended family this year. We've stayed in Florida for Thanksgiving for the past couple of years, and so now we are moving into Alabama, so we are going to be having a nice little fun road trip next week, and of course you will see that in weekend recap. Let's just talk about gratitude. Gratitude is, the quality of being thankful. Of course, with me being a Christian, I am going to throw in some biblical and Christian stuff in here, as well as far as gratefulness and gratitude and all that stuff and being thankful. Gratitude is recognizing that we have not done everything for ourselves, but we depend on others, and especially when it comes to spiritual life, we depend on solely God. I look at my life and I really am very, very grateful. A lot of people have asked me over the years as I've gone through various hard things in my life back to back, like, how can you still be so grateful, for life, although yours may seem like it's falling apart? And I will say, because I have Jesus and he gives me the strength that I need to overcome anything and everything. Because I have Jesus, I also have the gift of salvation. And that is a gift that no other person can give you besides him. When you have the gift of salvation and you desire God in your heart, you live a different kind of life than most people do, because you're not living to fulfill the desires of man, but rather those of Jesus. This gift obviously does not exempt you from the hard trials of life, but it does make it easier to go through and manage, when you put your trust in one who is far more greater than you, who gave you the greatest and most important gift and sacrifice of all, which is free at that. I know I'm not perfect and I don't always respond the right way. I don't always have the positive, optimistic attitude. Sometimes I speak before I think. And, but what's good to know is that I have a Savior who will always lovingly correct me and show me his image and, what I'm supposed to follow, and will always forgive me and give me another chance to get it right again. Beyond the spiritual aspect of gratitude, I am thankful for life itself and the life that I have, because I know that specifically most girls like me do not have the luxury of enjoying what I get to enjoy, on a regular, consistent basis, like having two married parents in the home that love each other and are committed to each other. And I sometimes have to remind myself of why certain girls act the way they act towards me and girls that I come in contact with, because they don't have what I have. I know the most influential way that some girls perceive love is by the relationship between her parents, and in many cases, sometimes the lack thereof. And many girls don't know what the real definition of love is because they've never had that example to look at and really follow. In many cases, we see this with girls who don't know how to love themselves because, in some cases, if they've watched their mom put up with abuse or violence in the home, and not being treated with respect, then they're gonna be used to that and think that they won't ever find that good type of love because that's all that they've ever seen. And I see things like this especially in the girls that I am friends with mostly. They love my parents because my parents are like that standard couple for all of my friends, basically, because they see how my parents are always together and how we are as a family. And they long for that because they don't have that. So when you hear other people's stories and they allow you to be a part of their journey, it does make you grateful for what you have, because I cannot imagine being a daughter of divorced parents and having step family on both sides, and having, one holiday, but multiple celebrations with each family, and it's like you have your two parents, but you have these other blended families as well. And so I cannot imagine, I really cannot. I am like proud of those who can do it, who seem to have the mental and emotional strength to do that. It is amazing. So also looking at gratitude from this perspective, I also strive to encourage those who have a great relationship with their grandparents to soak in every moment, because I no longer have that with my pop and me mom, because they are in heaven now. And even those who don't have the best relationship with their grandparents, to just do as much as you can to make peace with the situation, if that's how it is, because you never know how much you will miss something until it's gone. So I understand like this duality of being grateful for the amazing relationship that I did have with my pop and me mom, while also encouraging others to make the most of every moment, because with their grandparents, because I know what it feels like to not have them anymore, especially because I never thought that I would lose Mima at 12 and Pop at 16. I also strive to tell people to take care of themselves and enjoy life if they are like physically well and fit enough for that, because I know what it feels like to go through major surgery and never feel the same again, and still working through recovery even 5 years later. And I already feel sometimes like an old person, but in a like early adult body. And I am grateful for the surgery, and it did save my life, and it prevented any further damage that was being caused initially, but it also changed me physically more so than anything, in ways that cannot be explained, and it's still hard. So I also strive to encourage those who have a great relationship with their biological aunts and uncles to enjoy the moment as well, because that is something that I necessarily don't like have anymore, like barely, honestly, not even there, to be real, to be completely honest. And I've kind of hinted this throughout some vlogs, but still, keeping it respectful, not being too petty. But, over time, as things happen and as situations happen, I will say for me in recent years, being in my teenage years, and then, 2 months ago, just now turning 18 and becoming an adult, like, you really have to sift through relationships for yourself, and you have to like reevaluate and see like, okay, which relationships are good, are not toxic, like which are the relationships that I'm going to invest into, like the ones who aren't creating problems. And then you also have to decide which ones are you gonna, back up from, because they are the problem. And this is why I do like bring up more so of my unbiological aunts and uncles, because they have played such a major role in my life for the past few years, in between that gap of, situations and then a void, and then they came into my life, and it's just been perfect. And in many cases, most of my unbiological aunts and uncles have always been in my life and a part of my life, but they've just stepped up in greater ways because of this void. And I am thankful for how they have effortlessly done that. I mean, they have filled a void that I never really thought could easily be replaced, especially after coming to the conclusion that sometimes blood ain't thicker than water. And that's why I try my best to be a good auntie to my god siblings' children. And I want to be a good auntie to my best friend's future children too. Like, that bond that you have as an aunt, especially as a single childless aunt, is irreplaceable, because they really are like your first babies, honestly. And so for me, auntie life is like such a gift. To all my girls, don't abuse it. Don't be that toxic auntie that some of us have, because becoming the toxicity that you say you hate is absolutely wild. In 2025, I want to strive to have a grateful outlook on life, and take every bad moment possible that I have and turn it into it could have been worse moment, or things could have shifted differently here. And I will say, I have talked about this before, my relationship with my parents this year has had its ups and downs. But one thing I can say is that, I am doing what I need to do. And all I can do is just pray and thank God for my godparents, who are like my backbone and my backup. and just remind myself that if people really want to be there, then they will. And you wouldn't have to fight. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't have to fight for it, especially if they love you. 2025, if God leaves me out of something, I want to be so grateful enough to him that he didn't want me in that predicament instead of wondering why I wasn't there. Because at the end of the day, God has a way of separating you from what's not meant for you so that you don't fall back in your walk with God and getting into something that he's trying to pull you away from. If God takes a friend, I want to be able to be grateful enough that God sees further than I do, and that I understand he is protecting me. If there's something that I'm pouring my heart into and it's not perfect as much as I want it to be, I want to be grateful for that moment of imperfection and recognize that I myself am not perfect. In every situation, I strive to be grateful. When you go through things, but yet you still love your life, you love who you are, you love those around you, you love those who you've been graced to be friends or family with, and you just love life as a whole, the level of gratitude increases even more on a greater level. I have to say, it irks my nerve when I get around complaining people. I just hate it because it's like they have nothing better to talk about. It's like every single time you come in contact with them, they walk into the same room that you're in. I mean, these are the people that always got something on their mouth to say. Like, always got something negative to say, always complaining about something. Just fussing about what they don't have, what they can't do, who they mad at, who they beefing with, and it's just like, okay, be quiet, sit down somewhere. Like, God has given us a life to live, and it's up to us whether or not we're going to choose to live a beautiful life that glorifies him or separates us from him. Because this life ain't about us anyway. This is about God, because the Bible says the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. So we have a choice to choose God. We have a choice to be grateful. It's all about your mindset and putting into perspective what matters to you, what moves you, what makes you, what motivates you. I am so grateful in my life that I don't need the trends to keep me happy. Like, I can do fine with off-brand and still be happy because I'm good with who I am. I know this may come as shockers to some. I don't have a Stanley. And then I started seeing how they were pointing out the logo that represents Mark of the Beast. And I'm just like, this is exactly why I didn't go crazy over this cup. And I have an insulated cup that can keep my drinks hot or cold. And it's not a Stanley. And it's just fine. I have money for, the big ticket items. Trust me, I am stacked. Okay, because my pop left me in good hands. He took care of me before he passed away. But I also believe in having good stewardship over your finances, especially according to the Bible, and not buying out of emotion because it's popular and it's trending. And I'm not saying that the trendy things are bad, but when we worship over it and we treat it like it's an idol and obsess over it, that is a sin. And that's why I'm simply not as materialistic as I was like in my early childhood, where you wanted all the toys, you wanted everything, and I'm hard to really do something for because I like what I got. If there's something I want, I just go get it and I swipe my card. Things like that. The simple things, they keep me humble. They keep me grateful. Like flowers and a card. It's just the little things, honestly, that people do for me. Because at the end of the day, the people who do nice things for you are taking time to invest into making you happy when they really didn't have to do it with their own time, effort, money. At times, I'm just grateful to even be thought of, because there's a million things that people could be doing and you really don't have to be on somebody's mind. So that's my take on gratitude. There's so many places to take this conversation, but I hope you guys find, a new perspective on being grateful and looking at life differently. And speaking of being grateful, I am grateful for all of y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in today for Couch Conversations. I love you guys so much, and I will see you on Thanksgiving.